Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, today we are talking about security. We do know, there's been several talks about federal government negotiating with Niger Delta militants. We don't know which group exactly, but they have groups as MEND, all of them just publishing and talking about the kind of concession that they've been able to secure or guarantees they've got from government in terms of negotiation. And then you have several activities of military themselves in the Niger Delta and planned activities as well. So we're focusing on that, and we're joined this morning by Oluwaseyi Adetayo, who is a security consultant. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Well, all of this that we hear, whether or not government wants to negotiate, are they negotiating, should they move in with military action, which do you think should be the best approach in this circumstance to end this insurgency?
Well, thank you.
Militancy.
Okay. If truly government is trying to make such concession, then we should actually give Mr. President an applause.
In terms of what, dialoguing?
But in terms of what we read about planned release of some people, we've not heard from government, but that's what I read it online as well. And I think that's a big concession. And that shows that the government is trying to show that it cares. And that's a further posture, because there is no how. I've not seen where you win a war on the battlefield. There's still going to be some level of concession here and there for you to have a lasting peace. I'm talking of, achieving peace in a war situation.
But then, if that happens to be on the one hand, because if you have groups as MEND publishing that, we seem to be having some green light from the federal government, and many were they thought that it was they were supposed to be in dialogue alongside the Avengers, but we haven't heard any such thing. Whenever we hear that kind of thing, you hear some comment from Avengers, no, you're not negotiating with the correct version of the Avengers. What does that, or what's the potential of those kind of comments to this negotiation? Well,
I was also concerned when I saw that this is actually coming from MEND, but we've not actually had anything from the Avengers as such this morning. Nothing. So maybe I don't know why they are silent about it. Their silence could mean that probably the information from MEND is actually they're in agreement with it. Maybe they are actually the ones speaking now as MEND, knowing fully well that there's supposed to be a program, something today. Yes. So I know everybody we're all watching to see if something new is going to actually come up in that direction today.
Is it going to be hasty for us to think that there might be some sort of relationship with all those militant groups, whatever name that they're called? At least they may be in communication with each other.
Of course, definitely. Just like just like every other organization, whether formal or informal, whether you see them as legal or illegal, there's just, if you look at also the terrorist networks too, there's some sort of communications. Some people, placing their allegiance, declaring allegiance to other party or some. So, and more so, apart from the fact that most of these people, there are those that are involved in other activities. There is a common thing, a common goal among them, which is also the Niger Delta issues. So there is always a forum for them to discuss these issues, and where they will definitely meet and form a kind of bond or relationship. And mind you, part of what we're seeing now is a fallout of the last amnesty program. Yeah. And they've all been together during this amnesty, pre-amnesty, and then during the amnesty exercise. So you can't rule that out.
No, but yes, we have that news of the federal government negotiating and MEND agreeing to some terms. But the news coming out has it that some people are rejecting some of the conditions given. For instance, condition for the release of Kanu, they're rejecting that. And then we also hear the other news about military planning and mass redeployment, taking fresh action or planning fresh action in the Niger Delta. How would all of that tie down to?
Well, from the military angle, you see, you don't expect government to negotiate from the angle of weakness. even when you want to go to negotiate, you must show strength. So I see that as part of military psychological ops. You have to show that, come, I'm sitting with you, I want to talk not because I'm weak, but because I have to be a father. So, but if you don't want to agree with me, I can always, bring out the cane. So I think it doesn't necessarily mean that the military will actually do that. It depends. The military cannot on its own decide to act without getting directive from the president. So, but at the same time, the military will not want to show the world that we are negotiating. Government is negotiating because we are weak, because we cannot take out, those people. But Nigeria, we are all part of the corporate entity called Nigeria. And at every point in time, when we are having conflict, we can always sit down together and then resolve our differences.
Are we really resolving these issues? Are the issues really being resolved, or we're just discussing towards a resolution? Conflict
resolution is a process. It's not something, you don't force conditions down people's throats. There must be understanding. There must be, people have to discuss, they have to agree. Even from government side, even when certain conditions are being given to government will have to look at it and discuss it and look at it and say, okay, from the avalanche of intelligence or information we have, what we have now, which one is the best possible course of action that we should take, taking into consideration that the government is responsible for all Nigerians. And we must take all Nigerians' interests. Government must be seen government's decision must be seen to take care of all the aggregate of all Nigerians' interests when such is being.
Let's get Markwa's comments. Markwa?
Yeah, I was just wondering, what do you say to those who claim that this is some divide and rule tactics being employed by the federal government? Because if you look at the rhetoric coming out from the Niger Delta or from these negotiations, you hear that that some of the sore points or some of the agreements is that the Oka brothers, Nnamdi Kanu, may regain freedom. And then in another breath, you hear men calling the Niger Delta Avengers criminals. They regard them as criminals.
We should understand that even within this particular area, a lot of politics are going on, battle for supremacy. The experience of the last amnesty program has shown us that when you push yourself as a strong force, government will want to talk to you. So everybody's trying to position themselves as a very strong force to get the best position on the negotiation table, so that.